Caldicott Castle, a place rich in history, a place visited by kings, warriors, magicians, and as of today, the 2009 Total Wipeout Sweeper King.
And finally, there's camouflage-wearing cinema projectionist Big...
Pain is temporary!
Bad...
Failure is forever!
Ben, the Sweeper King.
So, it's taken 2 years exactly to this day, but after speaking to 8 different contestants from Total Wipeout, we finally get to speak to someone from the very first series. Ben, Mr. Rees, how are you, good sir?
Not too bad, guys.
So, you were in episode 3, weren't you?
Yeah, season 1, episode 3.
So, when you think, everyone else we've spoken to, the one thing they had in common was that they said that they were able to watch previous shows on BBC and then decide that looks good, I want to apply. You didn't have that, so what was your story? How did you even hear about the show?
Yeah, this is it. So yeah, we didn't see. There was. Was it back now? I'm just thinking. There was lots of auditions for the various different game shows coming out. So I literally applied for 10 at the time. Not knowing what they were really.
Yeah.
Just got the applications in, copy and paste,
yeah.
and heard nothing back so far. So then I looked onto Wipeout and I googled it, and then looked on YouTube, and then I could see the American version.
Right.
Obviously the British version hadn't started yet.
Of course, the American one started the year before us, didn't we? So
Yes,
there was
that's
a
right.
little
Yeah.
bit.
So there was little bits to look at, you know.
Right.
And it looked quite brutal, to be honest, because the American version, I think, there is just no limits. It's everything just goes basically.
Yeah.
So you kind of prepare yourself mentally, and at the time I used to do a lot of running.
Yeah.
And actually at the time I was in the application for the military, so
okay.
I was pretty fit at the time. Yeah. I just kind of looked on YouTube and just thought, oh yeah, that'll be all right. It's not too bad and stuff. And but what I think when I was out on the show, I think when you look back, I think because I hadn't seen any of the obstacle courses, it was hard. You turned up, you weren't allowed to, view the course beforehand.
Right.
You weren't allowed to see anyone taking part.
That's right. It was all done in isolation, wasn't it?
That's
Each of your runs, and then
So it was kind of like you got to the start and here you go type of thing.
Yeah.
So it was all off the cuff, really.
Got you. Yeah.
It was how do I do this? How do I do that? It was just all off the cuff.
Yeah.
So it was. I think it was harder because we didn't get to see the course or see any kind of clips on YouTube. So I found it a little bit harder.
So really, for something that you had very little, very little knowledge of, or very little, to see of it. What was your expectations going in? Because I suppose you knew that there was different rounds you had to go through. There was money at the end. That sort of thing.
So I'll be honest, I'm very competitive.
Yeah.
So I was going to win.
Yeah.
You don't go to take part. Well,
we'll talk about the competition side later because when it comes to running, we have raced together, and we'll go there later. Yes.
So I turned up to win basically. I had the £10,000 spent, everything. So I was going in all guns blazing really to win it. Really. Yeah. So.
But to be fair, do you know what I want to ask you? Because we'll show a little snippet of your first round. Because you came 5th in the qualifiers, like 2:01. I saw did on that, but they only showed you on the sucker punch and on the balls.
That's right. So
the first and last obstacle, they didn't show those because the rope swing at the end. I think they call it leap of faith with the big. Run up sort of thing. How did that go exactly?
It was brilliant. I think what happens
did you land it or?
Yeah, landed and everything.
I had the same obstacle. I fell off.
Yeah, so I think what they do is they obviously everything was perfect apart from the punch bag.
Right.
So they knocked me in and I got sunk and I found it hard to get out.
Yeah.
And obviously the big ball. So I think they just cut out and edited the funny parts.
Oh,
if they showed my whole thing, it would probably be too serious maybe.
Right.
So. It was. It landed at the end perfect.
Yeah.
The start was perfect. And the big balls. I think I was the first person. I think there's some stats online I've checked, and I'm the first person in a few series to get to the third ball.
Yeah, there was a comment in the show because you made the third ball. It said that's the furthest we've seen in the episode so far, and you were in the editing. You were one of the. I don't know what the order was out there, but you were like one of the last few they showed on the episode. When it went to air. Because a lot of people were failing at the first one.
Yes, and of course I hadn't seen it before. I knew there was going to be big red balls there, and I thought, well, because I'm a big guy, I'm 6'3", 15 stone. Well, I was probably 15 stone at the time, so I knew I wasn't going to kind of like. I think you've got to be.
You can't be
small.
twinkle toes at that weight,
so I kind of just jumped on it, hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Landed on the second one on my stomach, and then I landed on the third one.
Yeah.
And I had a grip of it, and then all of a sudden I started going back. And I was like, oh no!
Yeah.
So that was just made up. Again, because we hadn't seen anything, it was just all off the cuff, like really. But,
of course.
I was planning to be a bit more. I'm a bit more loud. I'm a bit more fun and stuff.
Yeah.
But I found because I was concentrating on what to do to win, I was. More...
You forget about that, don't you? Because you're just thinking about the job you've got to do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was day one, but then of course day two. I've got to ask, because Sweeper. Had you seen any clips of Sweeper before?
No.
No. What was your thought when you saw the podiums?
Yeah. Well, they're high up in the air.
Yeah.
There's a crane. I think it was
It's like a cherry picker thing.
Yeah,
one by one.
Take you up onto each one.
That's
So.
It, yeah.
Not best of heights as well.
Yeah.
It just looked really tall and big.
And also, I mean, some people may know this. You would think the podiums are still, but they don't. They rock around, don't they?
This is what I thought.
Yeah.
So I thought when I get up, they'd be great. So once I'm stood up, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
But they were just. It felt like they were just held on with blue tack, and they were just going around. And I just couldn't stand up on them. I couldn't get any feel for them. So I stood up there, and I was. And then it started. Yeah. And I think if you've noticed the first 4 or 5 swings, they call Richard says I'm doing the bump and hug technique.
Oh, right.
Because I'm not doing the bump and hug technique. I'm just standing there and it hits me over every time.
Right. Was it clipping your feet? Was it? And then you just grabbed the podium?
It was just hits my feet. I grab the podium, somehow get up, and then stand there again, and it's happened again. Right. But by the 3rd or 4th time I get up, I thought, okay, I've got this a bit now. And I stand up, and then I start jumping them then. Right. And ours went around for quite a long time. I know it's all edited, but ours went around for ages. Yeah. So I got more confident, and I thought, this is easy now. Yeah. So... of
course, the other thing as well, because I noticed with Phil in front of you, when he went out, he grabbed the Phil, if you're watching this, is that because he grabbed the thing, and of course suddenly you've got the bar coming to you and Phil attached to it.
That's it, yeah.
What goes through your mind in that situation?
Well, what they edited out was me swearing.
Right. There's a lot of that on the show.
I was shouting, like, effing leave it alone, what are you doing? You know, because I thought he was going to knock me out.
Right.
Competitive side.
Yeah.
But luckily, he I think if he'd let go midway as it was coming, it would have sprung up and hit me.
Of course, yes.
He luckily held on, so it was lower for me, really.
Oh, so then you could...
But I think I still was doing the bump and head technique then. Yeah. But, I did swear, and I think they told me off afterwards.
Yeah. Mind you, do you know, anyone I've spoken to on other shows, that there's quite a lot of, a few naughty words. It just involuntary sort of comes out, I think, in some of the obstacles. But then, of course, as it got near to the latter stages, I noticed that bar was getting pretty much near maximum height, and you were still...
Yeah, so as I said, you was going around for ages. Yeah. I'm 6'3". Yeah. And as you've seen, I hopped that gate quite...
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Just
yeah. Yeah, he hopped it. I couldn't. I just climbed over.
So I've always been pretty good at doing that. So I think at one point it was about this high, I think.
Yeah, it was Andy really Norgate said it's about 1.10 m is the maximum height. It's like, 110 hurdles. Yeah. It's somewhere in that sort of region. It is high.
Yeah, so it was really high, and then I think the parent who was on there just after me, he's quite a small lad, so I just kept on going and going. I think I probably could have gone for a few more rounds, but it was very high, to be honest, and I don't know how I was clearing it. I went from unable to stand on there, thinking I'm going off the first swing. Yeah. So obviously with that. So.
But well, the thing is, then you actually got the name Sweeper King from it as well, which is I don't know what it feels like. I couldn't. I tried. I got third, and was it? Yeah, third. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was expected, to be honest, because of competitive, being first in the qualifiers. Top 2 I suppose. Yeah. Then obviously I was expecting to do well on the sweeper. Yeah. But then obviously competition grew and I won that. Yeah. So I was expected to be first or second throughout it. As much as you turn up to take part, you want to just be competitive.
Well, of course, then we move into the whole Dizzy Dummies, because I never had Dizzy Dummies in my original show. It was Dreadnought, and I'm actually relieved, because what is it like being spun around?
No, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing ever in my life. Yeah. And I think beforehand they let you eat loads of nachos and cheese to fill your stomach.
I was going to ask you, was it filmed before or after lunchtime?
After lunchtime. And I think that's what they said.
That's awful.
Yeah, so we were all full.
Yeah.
And I think that was their kind of trick, and they were laughing about it. So I kind of went into the seats, and I thought, everyone says keep your head back. Yeah. So it's like less spinning and stuff. And you do that, but it goes so fast. I couldn't believe how fast it went. It went so fast to the point where I went forward. I
was thinking the G-force would hold you forward then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so I was out. Yeah. My arms were locked back, and I felt my arm like we're going to pop out. Ooh. And I'm screaming, going, ah! Yeah.
And that's what we heard on the edit.
Yeah.
That's where Amanda said, Ben's not liking this. Yeah.
Honestly, I hated it. Every single minute of it. And it stopped. I was so dizzy. I felt ill. I just didn't even know where I was. was. I just hated it, and then the rest is history.
Yeah.
So,
The thing is, at least you got to that point. So technically, you came 6th in the show, but the thing is, I would class that's like hitting the semi-finals almost, isn't it? Because and that's, well, when you think, it says a lot that they realised spinning people 3 times was too much in that series, because then for series 2, they cut it down to only 2 spins.
Oh, right, okay.
So what they did, it was only the top 5 from the sweeper that would go through, and then it was just 2 spins on Dizzy Dummies, because they saw how messed up everyone was getting.
I think they did it for 2.5 minutes of spinning. I think that was the thing. And I just
that's too much.
And when I got off, I thought, right, it's tippy tables and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought for some reason the best thing would be just to get on there, let it balance out, and then crawl over.
Right.
Because my head's not in the game.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do that and I'm falling in. Well, why didn't I just run across straight away?
Right.
So it's kind of haunted me forever. I still have dreams about it. And I still have nightmares about it. Like, I still have dreams of being there and doing it again, because I know that now, if I'd seen it before, I'd just run straight across it.
Do you know what?
I would have been in the final.
Yeah. Do you know what? I still have things in the back of my mind. For me, it was like, I'm still in camera shot. The thing that got me, well, making sure that the wind doesn't blow this over. You never know. It's happened before. Is like the thing that haunts me. It was like on sweep where I mistimed my jump. And I keep thinking, why didn't I do that? Because otherwise, I would have made Dizzy Dummies then.
Yeah.
And it's. But I suppose this leads into the whole thing. You don't get any practice at the games. No. It's so different to other shows out there where you get to practice in advance.
That's it. And it was so hot. I think we were travelling down the motorway and it was like 40 signs of 42 degrees.
Right,
so,
My goodness me.
So just not seeing it on YouTube, not seeing the course, not what I was expecting. I think if going back now, I would probably get to the final. I'd probably be, hopefully win.
Well, actually, that leads to another question. If the show came back, would you give it a go?
That's right, yeah.
Brilliant.
So I found out that after I went on, a few years ago, they had some legends.
That's right, yeah.
And a few people from my team went out there again. So
that's right, because Phil got called back, didn't he? I think
3 times he's been up there.
Has he been 3 times?
3 times.
Oh, my goodness me.
So I was like basically contacting him saying, I want to go. But of course, I wasn't that funny.
Right.
Phil was hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, there was a few. And in my audition, I was hilarious, you know?
Well, I was going to ask you about this. With the audition, did you do fancy dress and all that? Because that's what they asked us in Series 6. No?
So I turned up just like, shorts and t-shirts.
Okay, right, yeah.
And as I see the queue, everyone's fancy dressed and I'm the only one just in shorts and t-shirt. So I managed to speak to one of the ladies there and I said, give me some makeup. So I made some panda eyes. I just made myself look a bit stupid.
Okay,
really.
right, yeah.
So I think to myself, hang on, this is not competitive, you know?
Right.
They obviously want people to be funny and, you know, because they're making a show, they don't want it to be competitive, you know? So I thought, I better change my game plan, you know? Right. So then when we went into the auditions, everyone was taking it seriously across the balance beams and stuff. But I just kind of threw myself off there, and we had to do a bit of a limbo. I kind of jumped over it and stuff. So I think I shone out because I basically done everything wrong. Yeah, and I think they loved that.
Yeah, because I remember hearing that myself, so that they wanted to see personalities going around that little obstacle course they did at the sports hall. Yeah.
So it was a little switch in my head when I seen everyone dressed up. I thought, this is not serious. This is more fun. So I thought, well, I gotta be fun.
You adapted.
But of course, you know, you want to do as well as you can always.
Have you found that? It's, especially with us, because we both compete. It's just in our nature. You see something, you want to do the best you can. Because ultimately, you want to play all the games.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So obviously, what was your reaction when the show went?
Started.
It's a little bit. Maybe we can still be heard in the background. It's all right. Noel Gallagher's playing a bit later. Basically, what happened? Noel was so excited that he heard that Ben was coming here. He decided to come to Caldycock. He wants to meet him as well, and he thought he'd put on a gig for him.
Yeah, that's it. For the Sleeper King.
I know exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, he's getting it. He's getting it.
I know. I still milk that. No. Every time it comes on TV or there's a clip, people text me going, "Oh, you're on telly! Oh, you're on telly!" Oh.
Of course, that was the other thing as well. When did you think the same as me, that when it goes onto TV, that's probably just going to be shown once and done? We had no idea about Challenge TV and the BBC iPlayer. It was just it was repeated about 50 odd times.
Yeah, that's it.
That was the reception was quite amusing.
Yes, because they kind of tell you get your families together to watch it and make a big event of it.
Yeah.
So I kind of did, you know, got the family around, you know, and stuff, and but yeah, it was just on all the time. It seemed like, and I kept on getting text messages. Oh, you're on telly. Yeah. And first of all, it's like, yes, I'm on telly. Yeah. And after a while, it's like, and some of the things I was saying, cringy and stuff and all that. So I'll probably watch this and cringe all over.
Honestly, the amount of times I do this, and I think, why did I say that? Because honestly, a lot of these times, as you know, no script whatsoever. Yeah. What comes out of my mouth is sometimes a surprise to me as well.
Yes.
And to Ben as well. So okay, so from the Wipeout side of things, then because I mean you lived in Cardiff at the time, I was in Cardiff as well. Like we started meeting each other at like half marathon, park runs, that sort of thing. Just a little side note. The first time we did park run together, how did that go?
Me winning.
What happened? I tried to track him all the way around, and I was just about keeping with him. 400 metres to go. I thought, all right, I'm going to try and sprint past him now. And it turned out he was thinking exactly the same thing, and I just couldn't keep going. There was 1 second between us. So, and then all your half marathon times, they started getting quicker and quicker as well.
Yeah. So I'm 6'3". I'm 15 and a half, 16 stone.
Yeah.
You know, when people look at you and they don't think you're a runner. You know, but for some reason, I seem to be pretty good at it. You know, my PB for a 5K is 19 minutes 45.
Oh my goodness me, right.
10K is 40 minutes 23.
Right.
Half marathon is 1 hour 32.
Okay.
Marathon, I don't really like marathon road running.
Yeah.
I think that is about 4 hours, I think.
Okay,
I just don't like them.
Yeah.
But I ventured into the ultra marathons then because I could find that I like the distance.
Yeah.
But I don't have to go so fast.
Right.
I think the longer a distance, the faster I can't go.
With the ultra marathons, is that on the road or was it like trail sort of?
Trails.
Oh, trail ones, right? Okay.
So doing Penarth here to Ogmore.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the Brecon to Cardiff.
Yeah.
So I found that I love the distance and I love running. I just wasn't very good going fast at those distances. So I stuck to going fast.
Yeah.
The shorter distances and then longer distance, just enjoying it.
Yeah.
And it was all about the distance.
Well, do you know, a friend of mine, she did the Brecon to Cardiff, when was it, about 6 years ago. I remember we were following her in the car going down and she was hitting the checkpoints faster than we could drive there because we were getting a bit lost on the way. But so that was about 8 hours. Was it about 8 hours that we were taking it?
Yeah. At the time I'd done it, it was just before COVID broke out, I believe.
Yeah.
So there was a storm.
Right.
Storm Henry, I think it was. So there was trees coming down on the course. There was water lashing down. It was soaked right through. I think at one point they were going to call it off because it was too dangerous.
Right.
But you know, we kind of said, well, your skin's waterproof. Let's just crack on.
Yeah.
You know. So that was terrible. But yeah, it was terrible. No, it was enjoyably terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So out of interest, what would you say is out of your running races? What would you say was your personal highlight? Which one means the most to you out of your results? Would you say?
Oh, I don't know. Well, there's one race I turned up to. So there was a stroke association run in Butte Park. Right. It was only a 5K. And obviously, as a runner, you want to win a race. Your ideal thing is to win a race. You're never going to do it, you know, because you've got all the
you've got all these
you've got the elite runners and stuff. But I turned up to this race, and it was the first of its kind. And there was only about 200 people there, and I was looking around the crowd, and I was thinking, oh, okay. At the time, I was running 5K about 20 minutes, so I thought I'm in for a chance here. Yeah. So anyway, I set off, and there was one guy or two or three guys around me. They just sprinted off. Yeah. And I thought, well, I'll keep my pace. I don't want to go too fast. And I ended up then at one point after about a mile in front. And the lead cyclist was in front of me. Right. And I was thinking, this is amazing. This is what, you know, I watch
that's what you see, isn't it?
That's what you see. You see a cyclist in front of you. They're telling you you're doing well. Your pace is this. Yeah. And I felt like $1 million. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, you've got to beat what's in front of you. Yeah. And I felt $1 million. And I had people from I think the Nike running club in town. They were following me as well. Said, yeah, you're doing really well. And I basically cruised then for the last 2 miles and won the race, I think, in 20 minutes 10 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
So it was brilliant, you know, and I thought, this is amazing, you know. I don't care, you know, it's not a big race.
Doesn't
matter.
To
me, I won a race, I won the first medal. So I'll always.
That's what I found myself is that in running races. Yeah, I mean, I'm so used to people being like twice as fast as me. If it's a multi-lap race, they'll be lapping me toward the end. Yeah. That's why I did rowing instead. It's easier to get medals.
Yeah. So that was probably one of the best experiences of my life. Just being at that front for. Yeah. You watch the London Marathon, you see the front runners. We're never going to be there, but that was my little mini London Marathon, and that was my little spotlight.
That was what I was going to ask about. Why don't you tell people that anyone who knows that with London Marathon you have to apply via ballots, and it is. I have to say, you must be the most unluckiest person I've known in terms of the ballot. How many times have you applied now?
I think it's the 14th year, and 14th rejection. Yeah,
that is insane.
I know, and I work in IT, so one year I set up. Must have been 30, 40 different email addresses, 30, 40 different accounts. I got people in work, so I had around about 100.
And you did all different applications.
Different applications.
And
Thinking,
still didn't come.
I still didn't. Not one came through.
That's unbelievable.
I only done that once.
Yeah.
But yeah, not even one. So.
Yeah. And yet, do you know what? I mean, this. Yeah.
If you watch a London Marathon,
yeah,
I
exactly.
want to place.
Now, here's the. This is how crazy it is. You know, I said about that friend of mine who did the Brecon to Cardiff.
Okay, yeah.
All right. How about this? On a couple of times she's applied for London. One of them she got picked on the ballot, and then not only did she get on the ballot, then another year she applied. She got picked on the ballot again, and then Mo Farah. They handpicked 10 people picked on the ballot that Mo Farah would read their names out on Twitter, and she was one of those 10.
Yeah, that's about right.
How does that happen?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
I know.
So I still think, well, you never know. If you're at 14, maybe 15th time lucky. Perhaps.
I think probably now because I'm getting a little bit older.
Yeah. Oh, could you go into good for age category? Because
well, 39 at the moment, so I haven't looked into it, but I should imagine as I'm getting older now, if I can keep my times the same, maybe.
Actually, because that reminds me of the one I was just telling you about with Dell, because she's about 35 or 36 now. She started hitting this point where it was other times she'd ran, and if they were good enough and they stayed on record for about a year or so, you could qualify as a good for age sort of thing. So it could be you move into that, but
my only chance.
But you would have to get other marathons in, I would imagine.
Yes.
Too. Can half marathons qualify you for?
I don't know. But
sure.
I should imagine when I come to that point, they'll probably raise the age or they'll lower the time. And, my London Marathon, it's just, it'll never happen. Yeah. I'll just have to turn up one day and just run.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Just jump out.
Sweeper King.
That would be the one. Just another about a hello mum.
So
I think what we've learned is you absolutely loved Wipeout. Yes, you would do it again, and you will absolutely apply for London Marathon, even if it means jumping out in front of the crowds.
Yeah. Probably.
And to round it all off, we're going to go and watch Noel Gallagher now. Go and do a show along with. Yeah, can you see Caldecott Cuts? Am I pointing to the right one? It's some. There, he can see it right by there. Yeah. See, that building is nearly 1,000 years old. It's around 1100 it was built, and finally they have a king worthy in their present, the Sweeper King. Ben, absolute pleasure, mate.
Cheers, John.
Cheers. Thank you.
See you later.